tedious and finicky to manage. They often don't follow the militia dwarves the way you'd want them to. And I would be totally fine with just making war animals more reliable before adding mounts. Because I think that is a much more interesting way to do things. Yeah, well, if you're getting attacked by an army, a skeleton army on the second day of a fortress, that means you settled right next to a tower. So I would say that's on you at that point. Like, I'm not talking about, like, in fort mode. In fort mode, zombies are fine. It's the... Like, this fortress, that happened, right? But I knew that would happen when I settled here. I think that zombies in fort mode in and of themselves are fine. The issue is maybe communicating that you're settling somewhere that's dangerous. But what I'm talking about is to stop them from just becoming an unstoppable force in the overworld. So you and me are talking about two different things. If you don't want to get attacked by a skeleton army at day 2, turn off sieges until day 10, you know? Yeah, no, and absolutely. Like, I like using war dogs when they work, but I don't want to have to go through the ins and outs of making war dogs work. Like, I can make them work in off-site sieges, so sieges that are me attacking another location, but I've had very mixed results making them work within the boundaries of my own fortresses. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of item in tomb jobs. There goes Bird Killer. Metal Fuse, thank you very much. Gifting a subscription to the last Scavenger. Scavenger! And enjoy that subscription for a whole month. And the emotes. And the ad-free viewing. Appreciate you, dude. Can't win them all, Salvi. Can't win them all. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this burrow on, but leave this ticked. So they're going to try and avoid going above ground unless they need it for a workshop. And I'm also going to make some soap. You know, for some reason my brain always thinks that asheries should be in the farming section, and they never are, and it irks me. And then Soap Maker Shop, which is right there. Whew, I've got a whole bunch of gold. You love to see it. Bearded Dwarf, dealer's choice. Happiest Bearded Dwarf it is. Eton, the Chief Medical Dwarf. Lanix dislikes helping others, is stubborn, and tends to only form tenuous emotional bonds with others, at times to his detriment. He tends to avoid crowds and is a greedy streak, is often cheerful and tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others, needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Dreams of crafting a masterwork someday and personally sees working hard as a foolish waste of time. Doesn't really value merrymaking. YouTube chat, I'm sorry I've been ignoring you guys. The first person to put 3 @ symbols in the chat also gets a dwarf. Likes kimberlite, copper, and yellow zircon, clear glass, gems, gloves, and crowns. And the words of the... We have another artifact. Cool. And the words of the... Where was I? Well, I said to YouTube chat, Darkson. That's an exclamation point. You missed it. Croc Dude, who's paying attention in the YouTube chat, gets it. You like clear glass, gloves, crowns, and... Croc Dude, what kind of dwarf would you like? Clear glass, gems, crowns, and the... Words of the prim wisps and the sight of the silkiness of festivals and what possible prefers to consume giant elk and prickleberries and apricot wine. And absolutely hates moon snails. And you're married to a dwarf named Bim. Any will do. All right. Happiest unnamed dwarf at B. Who is already apparently one of my bone doctors. I'll just call you Croc, because I think you had one previously in this fort. Everybody's most forgettable 3D platformer. Croc is not careful with resources when working on projects, spends unnecessary effort, is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and is quick to form negative views about things. is often cheerful and doesn't handle stress well. Doesn't often feel envious of others and can sometimes act without deliberation. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and is going God knows where. Hauling lignite, I think. Respects power, dreams of mastering a skill, and personally likes black bronze and lace agate, as well as bonobo leather, giant cobalt bone, a papyrus, and the color raw umber, helms and traction benches, and crowns and giraffes for their long necks. And the words of the prim wisps and the sound of the tulip of sparkling and the sight of the silkiness of osprey and buckwheat beer and one-humped camel's milk and rye seeds and hates snails. And is a member of the Ashen Cult. Welcome to the fort. You just followed instructions? Well, I mean, I did say YouTube chat. But Dark Sun, what kind of dwarf would you like? I'll give you a bonus. I am a merciful god some days when I feel like it, on a sunny day when I can see natural light. For me, an all stockpile is an early game thing that you stop doing after early game. I'm not against it. I use them sometimes. They're just not that helpful, I guess, is maybe the best way to put it. Like, an anything stockpile can be useful in some situations, but it's not something I'm ever really going to go out of my way to make, I guess. Annie with a beard. Highest, happiest, dwarfist with a beardist. You are Kib the Woodcut. And some migrants have arrived. Excellent. I will leave the game paused because I'd like to see those. Shares intimate details of his life without sparing a thought to the repercussions of property. Prefers to be alone and dislikes helping others. Doesn't seek out excitement and is stubborn. Generally finds himself to be quite hopeful about the future. I feel like it's talking about me until that point. He's not particularly interested in what others think of him. Anyway, is assertive and doesn't mind wearing something special now and again. He likes to brawl and doesn't cling tightly to ideas, is open to changing his mind, and often feels lustful. He is a friendly individual. He takes offered help and gifts without feeling particularly grateful, and he has a greedy streak, occasionally overindulges, and is not inherently proud of his talents and accomplishments. He tends to be swayed by the emotions of others, and dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. And likes borax and bismuth and paper suns, high boots, earrings, and mules for their stubbornness and the sound of the laces of silk, and when possible prefers to consume artichoke wine and can't stand worms. Well, you asked for anybody. Also, you saying very poor stats really tells me the kind of player you are, which is fine. All right, let's get this done. You're just going to make lie on repeat. Dwarf spizzies. All right, so let's see. What have we got? Poor spatial awareness. Well, that sucks. In terms of mastering a skill, thinks he's fairly important in the grand scene. He doesn't seek out excitement, but can handle stress. You'll do fine. What's your name? Avuz. Trusting, not musical. In terms of raising a family, a strong sense of duty. You'll do fine. And you. There you go. How about you? You're merciful. Sounds like a doctor to me. Some rando child. Another random child. Poor spatial sense, bad stamina, and poor focus, and shameless. But dreams of mastering a skill. I mean, like, you'll like it, so we'll give you an opportunity. I'm really, really sad that Freeways died. I wanted to keep that dwarf alive. Doesn't handle stress well, but dreams of mastering a skill. It also has high willpower. I'll chuck you in the military. How goes the port? Pretty well. Big Bang. Your gem person is still around. Piles of death aside. To check in on that artifact in a second. He likes to brawl. Okay. What's your name? Another Catan. How about you? Oh, wow, you're an expert mace dwarf. Expert, eh? Personally thinks introspection is valueless, and those that waste time in self-examination are deluded fools. Isn't particularly curious about the world. Doesn't handle stress well and is brave in the face of imminent danger. You're a weird dwarf. I'm actually going to put this dwarf into the Mark's dwarf squad. More random livestock. All right, we're going to start building a proper defense now, because we clearly fucking need one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to here. And I'm going to dig out a tunnel. How many layers down is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure, that's good. Okay, cavern dwellers, I see you. Yeah, that's generally the key there. You know, I don't like the way this looks. I want a ramp going down. For no reason other than I prefer the way a ramp going down looks. So I'm going to dig this out. And I guess we'll go down this way. So what I'm thinking about doing, because I was messing around with railguns in the last port, and I kind of feel like that's unfinished business. Kind of thinking about just making a cannon. Like, because I've got plenty of platinum and plenty of gold. We got all of the materials we need for me to get a tan. And also for me to make effective cannons. Because I think punting zombies with a giant minecart launcher would be fun. Trying to fix this without standing up. So far, so good. Ramps do look cool. Yeah, if they're nicely built. That's the keyword, though, is nicely built, right? So, also, I think I need to stop forbidding used ammunition. Yeah, I need to stop forbidding used ammunition so they can train a little bit more consistently. Let's get you training. Let's get you training. They're already training. Let's just update equipment. It's a slow process, but hey. Could you see your dwarf skills for a second? How many more seconds do you need? Enemy would like a round of beers, chat. Could you post a round of beers for enemy? No stockpiles unless it's an all stockpile? I mean, I could do an only one stockpile fort. It would work fine. It would just be very disorganized. Like if you guys want me to do that, it would just be like a big central room, essentially. All right, so you run over here and do that. And then they dig down. Although this corner here is going to look a little off because of its connectivity to the tavern, but it'll be fine. Stuff's not going to be ramping up and down it anyway. So then you do that. Okay, so they're just going to clear out all this. So that'll give me a little bit of time to do this, this, and this. Do that, that. The other reason I prefer ramps from militia entry and exit zones is it generally gives you a better view of fights as they happen, which to me makes them much more exciting, I guess. Although this should be a higher priority. Let's just finish this before we back up and do the other stuff. Oh, hey, look, more lignite. Nifty. They still have to do that. It's more obvious now that adventure mode is out, because now that adventure mode is out, you see when dwarves lie down. For a while there, you didn't. But ever since they made it so that you see when dwarves lie down, yeah, it's obvious again. But yeah, that's still a going concern. Dwarves having to lie down when they pass each other in hallways. I mean, if you don't want your dwarves to have to lie down, I would just do 2 wide hallways. Also, Crafts Dwarf made a cape. Reg the Weaver has created Oven Egeth, a cave spider silk cape, and offers it to the head cave of Clobbering. All right, who gets the cape? Chat. This is a cave spider silk cape. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with pear-cut moss opals and encircled with bands of round Christophraise cabochons. It is made from cave spider silk cloth. On the item is an image of a forgotten beast in cave spider silk. Mayor or captain of the guard. Anybody else have any inputs or thoughts? I guess it goes to the mayor then. How would it look on an amethyst person? They're not nobles, so I can't assign it to them as an item. Also, it wouldn't look like anything because amethyst people don't have like clothing sprites that go with them. I have problems with them lying down, because if they lie down in a pool of any kind of liquid, they get covered in it. And that can cause problems if, as an example, a forgotten beast with deadly dust appears and then expels a bunch of deadly liquids everywhere. Which on its surface wouldn't be too bad. The problem is, if all of your dwarves then lie down and run through it, then congratulations, you now have 150 dwarves that are covered in deadly dust. And then they all melt because it makes, I don't know, your blood melt out of your ears or something. So I have a problem with dwarves lying down for that reason. It's gone to the mayor. Corpseman. Also, YouTube folks, I haven't been bugging you guys too much today, but don't forget to leave a like on the stream, yeah? Only 54 likes so far. I'm sure we could do better than that. I'm also, like, sad that YouTube isn't promoting the stream more, so I'm gonna make a goal for the algorithm. Yeah, I mean, never underestimate something that could be definitely massively overthought by the developers of this video game. Okay, so I just need tallow. It's time to butcher some animals. I don't know where you came from, but I'll butcher you. I've got a baby horse. All right. And I'll also throw a tanner into here. And that'll hopefully get me fat. Occupational risk. You see, like, I would have agreed with you until I played Sunbirths. Like, a lot of these things that we're talking about here, it's like, yeah, it's something that you're like, yeah, I can ignore that. It'll be fine. Until you have a fortress ended by it because you ignored it, right? So go with Armok. Best of luck. But having lost forts because I didn't make wide enough hallways. Yeah, I don't think that risk is worth it. Besides, wider hallways look better. This is a lavish meal that includes 4 pieces of cheese as its ingredients. They're making sheep cheese roasts. Excellent. I need a better food stockpile. So I'm just going to dig that out right quick. It's called a charcuterie? Well, in order to be a charcuterie, you also need, like, you know, some other ingredients, such as, like, a pickle or 3. Also, let's just go to creatures and go to other and go cage. I'm going to train up all of these giant tortoises. And let's see if we can breed some giant tortoises. Let's also say nest boxes. Also, this down here is going to be my hospital, so I might as well actually work on this. Excuse me. You would like a cheese roast? All right. Well, you can have a cheese roast in this fortress. Just make sure you get through the front door and don't die to the zombies on the way in. That's the actual challenge. Is getting into the fortress. Once you're in, it's The problem then is leaving. But, you know, just nobody ever leaves alive anyway. Except for maybe the traders when they're lucky. They leave alive sometimes. The honey badger reverted to a untamed state. Yeah, that checks out. You losing a fort to Dizzy Dust was painful to watch. It certainly can be painful, yeah. Was promoted on your main page at least? Well, that's good, Elephantus. I mean, an ad break, I should pause the game. I thought I did, but clearly didn't hit the button hard enough. But at the same time, thanks to everybody who's doing it again today on YouTube and Twitch. Greatly appreciate you. I reloaded? What? Reloaded what? What did I reload? I'm confused. I don't recall, I don't recall reloading anything. Are you asking me if I reload, or is somebody in chat? I'm confused. What Nasty Ninja in YouTube chat said yes. Don't forget to leave a like on the YouTube stream. Which the number's probably gone up now. Yeah, it has gone up by a little bit. Could always go up by more, but hey, we'll take it. Oh, I thought you were talking about the previous fort or a couple forts ago where everybody died. Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of this fort, we had a forgotten beast that had deadly dust and a bunch of dwarves died. Yeah, that's true. But it didn't kill everything. It just killed a bunch of stuff. I think it killed like 4 or 5 dwarves, and then we released it onto the surface, and it did a bunch of damage to the enemy, which was great. Look at this. They're dancing. You love to watch that. Or I love to see that. We've also got a dwarf telling a story now. What story is you tell? It's about how Bone Dolphin became the expedition leader. A dwarf that we will sorely miss. I've now deleted my hospital, and I'm going to undelete it once it gets moved slightly. I'm also going to expand this so that they have more dancing space, among other things. Oh, so look at that. More random gold nuggets. I love it. This down here is going to be for food supplies. Probably cooked meals initially. But yeah, I haven't reloaded anything in a fort in a while. I've reloaded a lot in adventure mode, though. You're using a device that actually has RAM? I have a question. How did you load anything without RAM? Or do you mean actually has a reasonable amount of RAM? I'm also now just imagining that your computer looks like an actual RAM, like a bleeding goat. It's a funny mental image, but probably not that actually accurate to what you're referring to. 32 gigabytes. Oh, nice. You had a laptop with 12 gigs. Oh, yeah, that's basically none. So you're back to the one with 4. Oh, apparently Windows 11 runs on 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I refuse to believe this. Because I was looking at their spec requirements for reasons not too long ago, and I was kind of shocked to read that. I was like, there's no way that's true. Like, that is preposterous. Those fucking liars, man. That seems doubtful, right? There might be like some technicality where it's like, oh, we sell Surface books. Does Surface still exist? Anyway, or we sell Surface books that have X amount of RAM in it. And that's technically a version of Windows 11, but I refuse. I was watching, you're getting a laptop tomorrow with 4 gigabytes of RAM and has Windows 11. See? We have a live example. I was thinking about this recently because LGR did a video of the old school like netbooks, which is an era of laptop computing that I remember very vividly, due to the fact that my mom had one. And also, like, you know, when you're a little kid, you get to use the computer that's handed to you, and my mom had one, and she handed it to me a couple times. So, like, I vividly remember using that thing. And it having 1 gigabyte of RAM and being impressed that it even ran at the time. Which seems very quaint these days. It's like, oh, a whole gigabyte of RAM. My phone has like 16 gigs of RAM. All right, so this right here is going to be my hospital. Gotta rebuild this sucker. Which is the Earthen Sanctuary. So I don't need to reassign any of these because they're all still assigned. Oh, probably. But, you know, there's a version of Linux that runs on anything, right? You know, if people are out there installing Linux on their PlayStations, you know. It's sort of like, does it run Doom, you know? Except does it run a version of Linux, asterisk. I worked at a computer and recycling refurb place, and you'd take RAM cards that were 120 megabytes and up. I mean, my first PC had 64 megabytes of RAM. Granted, that was Windows 98. So we're talking a while ago. It might have been 95 even. Pretty sure it was 98. So I do have one injured dwarf here. You have trouble breathing. But you're just a novice. Just a novice. This has gone down to here. Got sardonyxes as well as more lignite. Yeah, it should be fine. Nobody ported Doom on a pregnancy test. That's not true. Somebody built a Arduino in a pregnancy test that used the screen to play Doom, but it didn't actually run on the pregnancy test. I also wanted that to be true, but unfortunately it wasn't. I'm going to see what I can do with railguns here. Some of the Dells we were using had yellowed white casings. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that probably says a lot. First computer, 4 megabytes. My first computer I got was in 2000 and something. 2000 and something. We'll go with that. 2001? Might have been 2002. And all the computers I got at that age were hand-me-down freebies that family friend gave us. Shout out to that family friend. He was a good dude. I don't know where he's at these days, but ran a charity where he would essentially give computers to people who needed them, and got donations from the school board. Got donated computers from the school board. So we had, or my first several computers were used computers that were once school computers for somebody. I'll just let that sit for right now until I get the material that I want. Yeah, this is above my pay grade, Quadrox. Used to throw a pad of cables up onto roof trusses and then get them stuck in the air compressor at my desk and then ruptured most of them, and then they fell off into the guys working below. That seems not optimal. Your first PC you could use was an Apple II. I mean, technically the first computer I used was an Apple II. And that had a bunch of games on it. They weren't good, but they were games, and I played them. Because you played what you had. Damn it. And I did have quite a few games like that for a while, and had a computer that was, very out of date. But even for the time. But, it had a version of playable Tetris on it, so it did the job. It certainly did the job. I'm going to do something that I love to do when I have a lot of boulders and somewhere that's inconvenient. Let's get rid of these boulders, damn it. Ironically, that's the only desktop Apple computer I've ever owned, though. Or Apple computer, period, I've owned, was a freebie, hand-me-down Apple II. Like, I've not owned one since. So it didn't exactly leave a lasting impression on me, unfortunately. These are some fancy traction benches, man. But they're not that expensive, unfortunately. All right, so I need a place to farm. Let's do copper, because I really like the way copper stills look. I need a place to farm turtles. This'll have to do. I feel like most PCs that people used were probably some sort of school computer. I mean, talking to my parents about the first computers they used, it was always some sort of school computer of some sort. You played Frogger. Chat, do you remember what the first game you played was? Because I played Demon Attack on the Tandy 800. At least I think it was an 800. It was a Tandy computer, regardless. Montezuma's Revenge. Ghostbusters for the Commodore 64. 64 Donald Duck. Nice. Wing Commander? Wow. You started off strong, man. You could certainly do worse than Wing Commander. Wolfenstein at the age of 7? Hell yeah. I remember the first shooter game that I played was, if you could even call it a shooter, it's not really, these were more puzzle platformers, right? Was the first Tomb Raider. I played the first Tomb Raider at a friend's house. That was also the location where I was at where I learned what Google was and how to use Google, because the game I wanted to play was, I just wanted to go to addictingtogames.com and play some Flash games. And they asked if I knew how to use Google to, it was at a friend's house, and they asked if I knew how to use Google to get to the website, and I was like, yes. And I'd never used Google before and didn't know what a Google was, but I did manage to find it. So then later that day we played Tomb Raider. Fun day. Blind reminded us, some of us, they were older than Google. I mean, I'm older than Google. Do I remember those days? No. But technically I'm older than Google. But it is very much a technicality. You remember when Addicting Games was huge? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm thinking about, I have an idea of how I can make this work. But I want to make a repeatable cannon. Is what I want to do. I want to make a cannon that can be fired multiple times by firing minecarts at people. I don't, it's not going to be like, you know, me firing items out of minecarts at people. I just want a multi-shot minecart launcher, I guess. Remember when Google became useful? Yeah, that's beyond me. I mean, you got to remember, I was born in 1994, okay? I know I look old. I get that a lot on dating apps especially. But, like, come on. In many ways, I'm still very much a youngin'. It's mostly my taste in video games that makes people think that I'm older than I am. I've been told that, even though I didn't get to experience any of it until significantly after the fact. Greg and then some. So the way to do this would probably be this, right? Yeah, this is the way to do it. Yes, it was. You graduated high school in 94. What if I told you I didn't graduate high school? I don't like being called a baby, though. That just feels weird. It's like, I get it, I'm young, but I will never like being called a baby. Because to me, that implies more things than physical age. Like, physical age is one thing, but I think that, like I've encountered many people my age where I'm like, holy fuck, you're dumb and immature. And I get that a lot. That's a baby to me, is somebody who's like immature to a point where there's more to it than just, well, you know, you're young, right? I think to me, there's a bit of a disconnect that I have there. Does that make any sense? Because I don't think of myself as particularly immature. I mean, in some ways I certainly am, but... Maybe you heard my age before, I don't know. I do say my age pretty consistently. I just don't say when people ask and make it weird. I have strong 17th century classical musical composer vibes, so I'm dying of lead poisoning? I don't know why that's what that sounds like to me, but that's what that sounds like to me. Why do I look like I'm dying of lead poisoning? Oopsies, wrong tool. I'm not saying that it offends me. I'm just asking why I give, you know, the lead poisoning vibe. Although I guess that's more like a 17th century painter, but yeah, it's probably it's the hair. Or maybe it's the fact that, you know, I'm funded by patrons. And yes, that term existed before Patreon. All right. True. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm like confusing mercury with lead. Okay, my bad. Mercury poisoning. I need to stop playing with Quicksilver on stream. Well, shucks. I was born in 1994. Yes, that is in fact what I said. YouTube chat. Blind as an old soul. Blind skipped being young. Like I was talking to somebody over the weekend who graduated high school in 2002, lived at home for a few years, working very part-time, got a job, eventually that they liked, decided they wanted to go to university for that thing, went to university for that thing, graduated, got a job, moved out, and then decided they didn't like that job, quit that job, moved back in with their parents and went back to university and is still in university. And I sit here going like, I never... Like, if I ended up doing something I didn't like, well, fuck me, I guess. Like, I couldn't imagine having the ability to be able to just be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. Because I never had that luxury, so. I never got to, like, fuck around and find out. I just had to find out, I suppose. I know, like, most people that I know got a couple of either reset years or years to just goof around and learn how to be an adult functionally. I never got that. So. Whereas just about everybody that I know has had some sort of either year or two where they just got to be young. And by that I mean hang out with friends and go to university and slack and do other things. I moved out at 18. So like I had a full-time job at 16 and I moved out at 18 and the longest vacation I've taken since then was 2.5 weeks. And that was because I was in hospital for 10 of those days. I don't know if I mean, there's definitely trauma in there, but. But the snake oil salesman said that the lead was good for me. Anyways, let's plunk a minecart route right here. And I have no minecarts. So let's just make a wooden minecart. Just one. And the mayor's been reelected. They must really like the mayor. Uh-oh. The Forgotten Beast Kona, Lithroropha, Mothaduri, Radavi has come, an enormous, eyeless Ankylosaurus. It has 3 long straight tails, it squirms and fidgets, beware its noxious secretions. Well, we're it. Word up. Let's just double check these dwarves. Everybody is more or less geared up. They're all hanging around the side door. And Militia Captain is carrying her baby. This dwarf is very far away and sleeping. So Zavi won't get to see fights this time. And you've got your bolts equipped. Well, that should be fine. Skull crawling and crap. Well, secretion isn't so bad usually. But we'll see. It depends on if it's a gas or not. And some migrants have arrived. Welcome to the shit show, my friends. It doesn't feel anything while in conflict. It's called the Dented Fight of Infernos, and it's got lots of kills, in fact. Yeah. It's got quite a lot of kills. It's been killing things since the year 18. I mean, it is 655 years old after all. Alath, the wrestler here, hasn't done anything yet. How about you? Have you done anything? You jumped away. Great. You right here. I've just knocked this dwarf flying, who is getting vaulted back away from the creature, and is now stunned. Over here, though, the creature's bleeding heavily because it seems like Olin stabbed it. Stabbed the Forgotten Beast with a steel spear, chipping the bone. And the forest, of course, pulls the rear leg, and they say, this is my fight too, this might require an answer. The creature itself has fallen over, and doesn't have any other major ailments aside from the fact that it can't see, and that it has no ability to stand. More noxious secretions go flying out. It is shaken to the core. It's now winded because it can no longer breathe. Who destroyed its lungs? Which one of you got its lungs? Actually, a dwarf stabbed it in the head with a steel morning, or bashed it in the head with a steel morning star, which fractures the skulls. We stabbed it in the neck, which tears the upper spine. That's probably what did it. They keep stabbing it, and then moments later, maybe not moments later, a few moments later, the creature falls. The dwarf that got the final blow on the monster was an axe dwarf. Uh-oh. Why are you having trouble breathing? But you did kill it. Maybe unrelated. Unrelated trouble breathing. Well, I don't know. Does this dwarf get a nickname? What do you think, chat? Good fight, I say, though. Good fight, I say. Let's see if I can butcher it. Maybe too far away. Can you be the killer? Deep Gift is not the type to fall in love or even develop positive feelings. She is confident under pressure and doesn't tend to hold on to grievances, doesn't cling tightly to ideas, is open to changing her mind, and does not go out of her way to help others. She is assertive, and she has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. She sometimes can act with little determination and confidence, and she isn't given to flights of fancy. She tends to consider what others think of her, and she tends to form only tenuous emotional bonds with others. She tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects, and she is often nervous. She is curious and eager to learn, and generally acts with a narrow focus in the current activity. When she's surprised, she has a unique laugh, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day. She dreams of mastering a skill and personally is offended by leisure time and leisurely living and hates cooperation. Likes yellow diamond and buzzard leather and rope reed fabric. And the color mauve, as well as the sight of the silkiness of festivals and when possible prefers to consume Nautilus, Chittery, and apple cider. And can't stand snails. She worships Burr and is a militia dwarf. So I'm not sure if it was answered on the stream, but my experiments say that sometimes if your civ settles in the tropics, they will have elephants. Elephants are generally in hot, either tropical or savanna biomes, so this is true. And if they do that during World Gen, there's a chance they will be tamed by the time you get through World Gen. This dwarf is also decent in the military. Also got a donkey. Offended by leisure time. Yep. You fucking donkey. That too. No, dwarves that are offended by leisure time would probably be the worst bosses, I would think. Tough, creative, and weak, explain. Doesn't really value skills related to fighting. Well... Okay, go be a gem cutter then. Low willpower, dreams of mastering a skill... You're fine with martial prowess. And can handle stress. And the population grows. And, oh, also, actually, I need to make 2 minecarts. Make a second one, because this one also needs a minecart. We'll just call this trash. Corpses, refuse, and pull from here. You're finally off work? Now what? Why are you on fire while it's off work? Oh, I see. Wait. No, you are on fire because of all the exclamation points. Well, I hope you're able to put that fire out. Quit rendering fat. Please make me soap from tallow. Thank you. If you have something underneath a minecart track, can it be hit by the minecart? So I have a question. If you had something happen, why are you asking me if it can happen? It obviously can happen. I'd need to look exactly what you mean by under the minecart track, I guess. But I've never seen that happen. I've seen things teleport through floors. So maybe they were on the minecart track, got hit by the minecart, and then fell through the floor. But I'm not exactly sure what you mean by under the minecart track in this instance, because I haven't seen anything like that happen. But sounds like you're breaking space-time with the speed at which you are going. Oh, you're wondering how? I don't know. Outside of the thing I just said. Which is it could have been like it hit them so fast that it teleported them through a layer, but again, I'm not sure how that would happen. That would just be a guess. Because, again, I've never seen that happen. That's kind of wacky. And also up here, this little corner up here is going to get all those giant turtles, or giant tortoises, rather. And I'm also going to increase the amount of drinks we're making. Ah. I have no unrotten fermentable plants. Well, I guess that also means I need to increase the number of unrotten fermentable plants. I suppose. Which logically means I just need to do a few of these. Which I don't need to do this. I want them to match and be the same size and be close to each other. I mean, that's why the idea is you use minecarts to make said death trap. Just intentionally make the death trap. Room full of dogs under the track. Originally, the track had a floor under it, but I built the track, and now I can see under it. Okay, that's just like any other floor. It's just they don't have anything that shows them with anything under them. Anyway, now you can see under into the room below, and one of the dogs just got killed by a minecart. That's wild. Yeah, I haven't seen that happen, and I've had similar setups. I have no idea. Unfortunately, I'm not always the best because the amount of things that can happen in Dwarf Fortress is so wild and varied that, cool. I mean, I could see it happening. How? Sorry, I can't be more help. But that's the best I got, dude. I'm just relying on me because I have a lot of experience. Yeah, but that's something I've never seen. I mean, it may have happened. I don't know. Like, that might be something that's definitely happened in my forts and I've just never noticed. Which is kind of, you know, grim, as they say. It took them months to figure out how the cats are becoming alcoholics. So it didn't take them months. That was fixed in about a couple weeks. I would hardly say months. The alcoholic cats bug was a very, not a really long-lived thing. It just is long-lived in Dwarf Fortress players' minds. Shall we say? Let's say don't put drink, don't put prepared meals, and don't put plump helmet seeds. Or dimple. Or sweet pods. Or pigtails. Or cave wheat. Ram-eating world. Okay, do explain how the giant goat consumed the planet. Also, that's hardly possible because FPS death isn't that bad these days. So I would really want to challenge the I found something worse than FPS death comment because I see that as rather unlikely. Okay, so I'm going to go up to here, and I'm going to make a pen pasture. This pen pasture is going to be for these suckers. Look at them. Look at them all. Love it. Listen to a protracted rant about how the system in Dwarf Fortress needs a rework because negative needs grow without bound, basically preventing dwarves from ever being focused. What do I have any thoughts on this? If your dwarves are never focused, then you are really bad at the game. They do not need every single need to be focused. They need a majority of the need. So this dwarf, as an example, needs to eat a good meal. Okay. They just need to eat a meal. They need to acquire an object. All right, well, I need to make new clothes or something. That's fair. They need to be extravagant. Okay, so they need higher value clothing. That's fine. They need to be with family. All right, do you have family? No. Well, you can never be with family. That's fine. And they need martial training and they need to be creative. You don't need to satisfy every single need, right? It is not possible to satisfy every need. And dwarves only become unfocused if they have compounding unmet needs. So if they need to pray to a god, they need to be with family, they need to be creative, they need to do all of these things. Okay, then they become unfocused. Unless I'm intentionally ignoring a whole portion of the game, like refusing to build temples. I've never had that happen. So what are my thoughts on this? The person complaining is bad at the game. That are my thoughts on it. And it's bonkers to me that it comes up as often as it does. Also, who the heck was ranting about it? Actually, maybe don't tell me. You can tell me via DMs if you like. Let's go farming. Nest boxes. You mean them not getting the focus buff? That's not a common buff for a reason. You don't want them to be, they shouldn't be focused all the time. Okay, so it sounds like okay. Here's the thing. It sounds like you listened to somebody who plays a lot of Factorio who insists that every number must be full at all times. Fuck that person. Tell them to go play a different video game. Like, if you are trying to do that, you're playing the wrong game. Focused is something that should happen occasionally in optimal circumstances. Not something they should always have. If you're playing Dwarf Fortress expecting your dwarves to always have the focus buff, you're playing the wrong game. That person's dumb, is my take. Plenty of my dwarves get the focus buff often enough. Like, I have a question. Are you always euphorically happy in the day-to-day of your life? Or are you just mostly content? Or are you depressed? Dwarf Fortress tries to emulate those emotions. If everybody is perfectly happy all the time and perfectly focused on everything, you're not playing Dwarf Fortress anymore. You're playing SimCity. You're playing an artificial equivalency of people's emotions instead of playing with people's emotions, which is what Dwarf Fortress tries to do. Yeah, I've had new camera angles now since the 1st of February, I think. Yeah, it's been a good time. I'm in a new location now, Jonathan. So I think that if you're trying to have the focus buff at all times, it's not that you're playing the game wrong, but you have the wrong expectations, I guess, is what I would say. Yeah, they are a beautiful thing. They're very calm critters. But they are semi-wild, so I'm going to have to keep training them. I'm also probably going to have a particular person assigned to them. At least a lot of these are well-trained. Several of them are. I will expand their home here as time goes, but for right now, that's where they get to sit. Already got a hen that's claimed these. And there we go. Let's just forbid this, because these are fertile eggs. And let them incubate them. Let's get some baby giant tortoises. I will check when I check, Red Fogel. Yeah, I do. Well, I mean, they've been in those cages for a while, right? So they've had time to develop the need. Oh. So here's the thing, Red Fogel. Yeah, of course. So the person who did the rant, I'm comfortable with saying this because now that I know who it is, he's all right with me talking banter back and forth and good fun. Get good, RNG, and quit bitching. God damn it, you should know better. RNG's good people, but he does complain about some pretty nonsensical things. I just didn't want to be, like, remotely talking smack if it was somebody that I knew wouldn't be totally fine with it. Hey, mods, if there's anybody lurking, can I get a shout-out for RNG? RNG's good people. He deserves the shout-outs. But, yeah, no, he's also been ranting about that for a long time, if I remember correctly. He's a very picky individual who wants things to be optimal at all times, and, you know. Is it drinking while playing Dwarf Fortress? Nice. Yeah, we've got giant tortoises. And I've also already got a single spat of fertile eggs. Which you'll love to see. Hopefully Mom doesn't go wild. Does anybody know if giant tortoises are born full grown? Yeah, no, I mean, like, the way I've always interpreted focused from a dwarf is that because like I also heard him rant about this once, and I talked with Putnam about this. A dwarf who is focused is a dwarf who managed to gain every single possible positive mood they can have that they need. It's not going to be a common effect. So some dwarves, it will be impossible for them to be focused because they're always upset about the fact that they haven't done a certain thing before. But that's not a bad thing. It goes back to the old discussion of, like, what is optimal? A dwarf that gets along with everybody all the time and is happy all the time, or a dwarf that is interesting? I think a dwarf that is interesting is more important versus a dwarf that is optimal. But, you know, you do you, boo. Also, I feel the need to mention this. So I've been live for what? Almost 7 hours. And I'm $50 away from my daily minimum. If I hit the daily minimum and then stream for 8 hours, it means I've made minimum wage that day. Although I did some math recently and learned that that's actually not true. But I'm quite below minimum wage. In fact, I thought minimum wage was lower, but they went and raised it. So I'm used to being minimum wage for the day. So we are not even halfway there. So we're $51 away. So anyway, if you happen to have a Prime subscription or a resub or, you know, the ability to show support, that's how this channel stays funded, because I don't do any sponsored time, as I babbled about earlier. Spelled it right on the first try. There you go. It's always a little bit of gambling in, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, so this turtle we just keep there and keep happy. Fingers crossed. Well, no, some animals are just born at full size already, and I've never caught giant tortoises before. They've always been very annoyingly walking directly around my traps. It's as if they know. Yeah, the thing I value most when it comes to Dwarf Fortress and characters in Dwarf Fortress is those characters being believable as people. People are imperfect beings. We are not happy all the time. We are not running at an optimal state all the time, even most of the time. And I think that's what makes characters in Dwarf Fortress believable. And I think that's what makes them interesting, is the fact that they're not perfect. Zon, the surgeon, has created another pigtail cape and offers it to the head cave of clobbering. All right, well, I will give that to the chief medical dwarf. Congratulations, Lanix, you get a cape. Oh, wow. Okay, so they really are small then. Well, that answers that. Corpse Man. Thank you very much for the gift. As well as Elfie, thanks for chucking a sub to Zalvi. Enjoy the ad-free viewing. And the emotes, mate. Thanks for helping me hit the daily minimum. 1 subscription at a time. Suddenly only capes, so see, I mean, only artifact capes. Bah! Thanks for $10, Darksan. Sudden sounds. Thanks, dude. For $10. I'll be honest, I thought we were closer to the daily minimum, but apparently not. I clearly need to just be doing more farming. Clearly need to be doing more farming. There we go. We'll go with that. You resubbed. If you refresh, you'll get the notification, which is what would trigger the screen. Red Fogle. Sour Growth, thank you very much for the 5-pack. Appreciate you, man. You get it? Meanwhile, Ellie Pants in YouTube chat. I get it, RNG. I'm pouting because I've got 6 dwarves in light orange and can't seem to get them any happier. I'm sorry. Some people have depression. You just have to be a horrible person and expel them if you can't tolerate dealing with some mild mental issues. Which is all I see that as. Some very mild mental health issues. There goes all them plumps. But thank you very much for that hype train. Zenibus as well. Thanks for the Prime subscription. Did you ever figure out if you could lace water with healing juice? My current presumption is no, but I haven't tried it. Because I keep getting distracted with zombies that want me dead. I have not had the chance to try it. Oh, am I just out of wood? Shit, I'm just out of wood. I'm sitting here going like, well, there's no water. Why are they not making these things out of the wood that I've told them to make? Well, it's because I'm out of wood, so. Well, that's a me problem. I should fix this. But thank you very much for that level 3 hype train, chat. Which currently needs, what, 6 subscriptions? Or $26 in bits to level up again. Including Dwarf Moods? No, totally. I mean, like, the thing is, RNG's been playing this game for a very long time, right? And over the years, Dwarf Fortress goes through different eras, and I've talked about this concept before. But when I say Dwarf Fortress goes through different eras, what I mean is the game gets harder and the game gets easier, periodically, depending on what's happening. Devil Dawn, thanks for the 5-pack. We just need one more subscription, either a resub, or a new sub, or a Prime sub. And then it levels up again. Or probably less than that in bits, even. $1 in bits is all it needs. Or a Clockwork Dragon chucks out a gift. Thank you very much, dude. And, like, RNG is aware of this, right? I don't know why, but when they stand, like, right here, they start fighting, which is a little concerning. When the eras that Dwarf Fortress goes through are points where the game becomes easier, and then the game becomes harder, and then it becomes easier. There's been points where Dwarf Fortress, it makes it very easy to be able to contort and mess with and change dwarves' moods. There's been points where it's been very difficult. I don't think that is inherently a bad thing. I think that Dwarf Fortress shifting in its difficulty from harder to easier and back again keeps the game interesting. Unamused Monarch, thank you very much for that gifted subscription. Appreciate you, man. I think that's a good thing. Like, to me, I like a game that shifts towards being easier and then adds new mechanics to make it more interesting. There has been points in the past where it's been very, very easy to manage moods and get things like dwarves being focused. There's been points in the past where stress was like a non-issue practically. And then there were points where it was, this is where tantrum spirals come from. There's been points where it's been so difficult to properly manage stress that a single like dead cat's tooth sitting in a hallway would make your entire fortress eventually start shredding each other and going full, like, I don't know, Danganronpa on each other and murdering everybody. Like, that would happen if there was an individual tooth that you missed. So, yeah, there's been points in the game where you could absolutely keep most dwarves focused. I don't think the game was as good back then. It was certainly less complicated. And that's why there's some people who turn the game on and they type in stress, remove stress in DF hack. And just, I think it's remove stress all. And then everybody jumps to happy. Some people play the game that way because they don't like the way the stress mechanic works. They want it to work the way it used to, which was a lot more gamey and less permanent. So I think like some people just miss those days, and that's fair. I'm very forward-looking and don't really think back too much. So saw the rat emoji in Discord, and it's amazing. Well, that's great. You also died. So, you know, sorry about that. What was I doing? I was making something. Minecart. No, not minecart. I was making something else. What was it? Fuck. I'll remember later. No, axes. Let's make bronze battle axes. How doth that happen? You was in the military, and you died in the military while fighting zombies. How do you get a dwarf named? By having enough channel points and then getting the redemption when it's available, which is about once an hour. That is how you get a dwarf. Oh, I see. No, that's not the issue. What the heck? Did I put these as too low of a priority? Nope, they're not priority number one. Well, hopefully they get to those soon. Did they die of dysentery? Apparently it's going around Oregon again. Well, that's not good. Maybe don't, you know, try to follow the Oregon trail. Or just, you know, maybe don't. Oh, hey, Chad, it's dancing time. Thank you very much for the hype train. I'll consider this hype train celebration. It's time to dance. We now have that shaking emote, if you want to do that. We also have this one. Oh, did I not confirm that one? I thought I made that one. Guess I didn't. Craftword, your dwarf is not in this fort. Your dwarf was in the previous fort, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, no, your dwarf was in the previous fort. Yeah. I don't think they've migrated over. So probably fine. Nothing went wrong in the last fort. Although I am hoping that that dragon will show up from the last fort. That'd be cool. Also, we have developed some familiarity with giant tortoise training methods. So here's hoping we can get some more. Yeah, that's concerning. Them just, like, constantly being in combat with something and no real determination as to what. All right, dwarves, is there any real reason? Oh, they've gotten to it. They're now chopping down trees. Excellent. All right, well, now that we've got trees getting hacked down, I can queue all this up to be smoothed. I should be able to test this sucker. So I'm just going to plunk you down here. You can get that. And you're not going to load from anything. You've already got all your settings set. And then you going to do nothing but get kicked when immediately. Got this dwarf placing track vehicle. It's pretty far away. And I've also... Shosan, hello. I've also got this one. It's much closer and also going to go place a track vehicle, so we'll follow you first. And also, thanks for the Prime sub, Shosan. Appreciate you. Let's see, are you going to that one that I want you to go to? Yes, you are. I will follow this. Also, hold on. Ah, it's your face veil. Got it. Let's see if this sucker works. Are there ducks in this fort? I don't think so. No. I do have giant turtles. What more do you want? I mean, obviously ducks, but... Finally caught a stream. Well, welcome. It's good to have you around. And, Grr. I guess what I need to do is connect this one to the next one, because this seems to just get stuck. Grumble. I would also say that giant tortoises are better than ducks. I wonder, actually, if doing this would solve it. Let's just forbid this sucker until you get done. Well, why do you ask, Clockwork Dragon? You looking for some quacks? Also, we're in an ad break, so I'll pause. Actually, I'll leave it paused. Yeah, this is called testing a new idea, right? Well, maybe not a new idea. This is called testing. You can't do science without testing, right? So we're doing the science, so that we can then do the testing. Giant ducks must exist too. So there's no humanoid variant, or also we barely cleared the daily minimum, by the way, with that hype train. So thank you. There is no humanoid or giant variants of domestic animals. So there isn't a giant dog or a giant cat, but there are giant cougars. If that makes any sense. Like, there isn't a cat person, but there's a cougar person. And there's giant dingoes. Tarn has a reason for it. You can settle for a rock. I mean, I'm sure you could just, like, embiggen the Quacker Sprite and make a giant duck that way. Well, giant ticks aren't tame, you know? The ironic thing is this might just, like, clothesline whoever is sitting in this workshop at the time, but... Okay, so you're just going to place that. Now let's unforbid this. No one wanted to adopt it? I wonder why. The enemy have come and are laying siege to the fortress. Oh. And you're telling... Oh, and they left? Oh, okay. Good siege, everybody. I want to test something. I'm trying to think what else I can do to test this. That implies that I wasn't comfortable on previous days. What do you mean? I guess I don't really know what you mean by comfortable. Was I uncomfortable? You'd not caught the first 2 days. I mean, this fort's been pretty cozy the whole time. I mean, it's had its struggles, but I wouldn't say that it was like... I wouldn't say it's been particularly difficult or anything. It's been interesting, for sure. But it's not, like, been ridiculous. So I guess I don't really know how to define comfortable. But if you didn't catch me the first 2 days, this fort's been chill. I mean, it's been a matter of... very slowly and cautiously fending off a variety of different threats. It's been a lot of what this fort's been. It might pop out here. Ideally, it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, this fort was settled on a mysterious palace, which is just a big world gen structure, right? So that's been interesting, slowly going through that, and I forced some zombies to go in there and fight it for a bit, and we've cleared out about half of it. I think once my military is done retraining, I should be able to deal with the last of it. So nobody's coming to do this task right now. I'll just forbid this. Because currently there's just too many planting jobs happening. See, this dwarf is focused. This is what RNG is complaining about, is the lack of this. This dwarf needs to acquire an object, they need to be with family, and make romance. And they haven't done any of those things. But, like, largely they're fine. So I don't know. I don't agree with RNG's bitching. Silk cloak. It is also warm today. Let's make 120 silk cloaks. So I definitely have 120 silk. We're also into early autumn. I'm really happy that Siege left as soon as it got here, because I would really like to be able to trade. Like, really would like to be able to trade. May have to kill those giant tortoises. Actually gonna open up the door to the living room so I get a little bit of fresh air in here. It's much cooler in the other room because the window is open. Hey, chat. Specifically, I was gonna say, hey, Twitch chat, can somebody type something? Because my YouTube chat just broke, and I had to refresh it, so I was worried that Twitch chat died on me too. But nope. What's the thing that makes caravans start actually bringing weapons instead of just on foot? Oh, wagons. You need to be a proper member of the realm, so you need to have a barony. You need to be a barony for that to happen. Which, I'm not super fond of that change. I think, like, if they fix the infinitely respawning barons problem, I would be totally fine with it, but... I mean, I appreciate your typing, Dr. They. Yeah, no, YouTube's fine. YouTube is currently working. Thankfully, when YouTube breaks, it does, like, give me a YouTube has crashed notifier, which is usually pretty obvious. Twitch doesn't do that. It just, like, stops updating. And then a while later says, welcome to the chat room. And I'm like, well, that wasn't helpful. Aranamo, thanks for the 22nd month with Prime. Welcome back, dude.
This fort looks promising. You seem much more relaxed after moving into your new house. I am happy for you.
It was a lot of stress, man. Also, just, like, I hated the place I lived. Like, I literally lived somewhere for a very, very, very long time that I fucking hated. I wonder. I could... You know what? Zalvi, I've got a very important task for you. It's a very important task. You can pick it up if you want at any time. How would you be able to pick up something if the person that's offering it to you isn't in the fortress? Because it requires the outpost liaison to then bring word back to the mountain home. So how would you be able to do something like that if the outpost liaison isn't available? That's the idea. Target practice. Soften up the enemy if nothing else. Smear of jaguar blood. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Are we also shooting these guys? Oh, that's fascinating. Like, they're listed as tame, but my soldiers are shooting them. Sending your messenger with the acceptance letter. I mean, that would be cool. I would be totally down for that. Oh, geez. What'd you get hit by? Steel bolt is lodged firmly. Oh, are you shooting back? No, you've got iron. They must be shooting back. That or they just friendly fired. Oh no, never mind. It's the iron bolt. This guy. This guy is the one that hit them. I mean, he's fired another bolt. It's down to 31. This is a pretty decent little setup we've got here. Speaking of diplomacy, I'm your liaison for the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. What requests do you have of our merchants? I'm going to ask them for platinum. 188. They want warhammers next time. Okay. I'm going to jump down into here and go here. Sell them arrows. Apparently I have another adventuring earring. Sell them a bunch of shoes. Holy fucking shoes. I have too many shoes, I think. Slight possibility. We have a lot of shoes. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about that stuff so much. I'm also kind of realizing I don't really have much in the way of crafts. I could sell them those copper whips because I'm not going to use them. I also don't need most of these quivers. Has anybody else ever tried to just sell a whole bunch of boulders, thinking that you'd get rid of boulders, and then realizing that boulders are heavy? Did anybody else ever try to do that once upon a time? Or is that just a me problem? I should just be making bone crafts is really what I should do. Fuck it, let's just sell these. All right. Oh. Well. I will say, this has been pretty great for training so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also get this squad up in here. We're going to open this up. We're going to go inside. We're going to finish this off. And some migrants have arrived. Although, I'm going to... Well, actually, no, there's just the one guy down there. I'm not going to go into this area, but I will clear down to here, is what I'm aiming to hit. You make so many bone crafts, you put bins by the trade depot so that the royals can't trade X, then I still have other... Yeah, I don't know. I've been very distracted with this fort because I've been focusing on a lot of extracurricular activities, shall we say? As a mod-wise, you need an outpost liaison and a baron to gain access to wagons, not just a baron. Oh, you also need the outpost liaison? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's probably so that... I would assume that that's so that you don't end up in a situation where you inherit a baron and then start getting wagons. But... yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think that it would be nice to be able to not have that as an issue. This is never good for a mood, but here we are. Enter, bunny. Some sort of metalsmith. You don't care about beard. Which one would you want? We've got Rith, Doran, Udil, Ingiz, and Eustuth. Or Ezem. Those are your options. We'll see, Darksun. No promises. You a deal? Enter Bunny is a perfectionist and is greatly pleased by her own looks and accomplishments and likes to take it easy, prefers to present herself modestly, and is generally quite confident in her abilities when undertaking specific ventures. She tends to form negative views about things, and she likes to she likes to keep things practical without delving too deeply into the abstract, and she is somewhat uncomfortable around those that appear unusual or live differently from herself. She doesn't often experience strong cravings or urges, and she prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible. She generally acts impartially, is rarely moved to mercy, and has a greedy streak, and has an active sense of humor and can handle stress. Gnaws her cheek when she's excited and has trouble speaking when she's excited, and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and doesn't vomit when she goes outside. She personally considers craft storeship to be relatively worthless. Yeah, because there's like no force wagon DF hack command or anything. She's a very broad dwarf. But we're going to continue this. Dwarf here is about to pull the lever. So let's see what happens. The gate should be about to drop, and we already have an unfair advantage. Unless that's not the one it's connected to. Which one are you connected to then? No, it's this one. Duh, I should have checked. Instead, I just went and pulled the one that's close by. Which also happens to be a kind of the wrong one, but that's fine. More excitement. Deep Gift has been found dead. Must have gotten hit by a bolt. Rest in peace, Deep Gift. Hardly knew ye. Chat, can I get a Vile Force of Darkness for good luck for these dwarves? Because as they run out of bolts, I will remind you, the fights begin now. Mark's dwarves run in first, eager to cut these goblins into pieces. Got another dwarf right here who is currently stationed. Competent swords dwarf. Of course, the skilled hammer dwarf who's wielding a great iron warhammer. Runs through the fighting and begins bashing. Although most recently was bashing a Forgotten Beast instead of these goblins. Most of the goblins are already lying down and quite injured due to the Mark's dwarves doing quite a bit of work before they begin fighting. Are you fighting with me? You must be. I fight through and then down into the lower levels. There is this guy over here who's already stressed and injured. Most of the animals immediately run to the exit. Goblin on the surface is now no longer with us. Send the dwarves up to here, and the Mark's dwarves back here. As for the lower levels, this goblin is overcome by terror and running away in fear, as would I. Dwarf with baby, everybody's favorite dwarven baby mama, runs past and is, of course, a proficient spear dwarf and would like to eat a good meal. I think you need a break after this fight. Stabs the goblin follower below in the lower leg with a steel spear, fracturing the bone through the cotton trousers. The militia commander stabs the goblin pikeman in the foot with a steel spear, tearing through the jute sandal. More of these goblins are now falling. And this goblin down here, well, fell quicker than I think they wanted to. And now let's take a peek. Is there any injured dwarves in this fight? Like you, as an example. Nope. Nobody's injured. Okay, then. You're shooting a bolt up. Because there is a goblin up here. So I'm going to send the military back up to deal with said goblin. And the goblin is no longer a concern for our good dwarves. And if I go down to here, I can unforbid all this. Unforbid the stuff in the middle here. I can tell them to update their gear. And also tell them to go into no orders and take them off station. We're going to give those dwarves a break. I think they've earned it. Especially the lady in charge. I think that we are going to get through that pretty soon here. Aside from Deep Gift being found dead, that went pretty smoothly. Let's see if it's time to trade now. I need you to go trade at Depot. We did miss the last trading season. It's too heavy for them, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal because I just need to purchase these. Also purchase those and the raw glass. So just buy one of these to deal with the last of it, but we'll see if we can get through it without. They did bring a singular fancy minecart and a very expensive scroll, which I will buy, as well as these. Can I buy the cheese? Yes, I can. That'll do it. Buying the cheese does exactly what we need. Buy the meats, buy the fish, buy the plump helmets, buy the leaves and fruit, buy the fruits. Still plenty of money left. I need some extra anvils. I'm going to buy those axes and the pickaxe. Buy the buckets, except for the expensive one. There's definitely some ale in there. I'll buy the one of those, and I'll also buy these. And we'll say, send it! Not bad. Also, I like rocks, elephants, in YouTube chat. If you play Dwarf Fortress, you kind of have to like rocks at least a little bit. So let's see if this sucker works now. And Deep Gift, you should have a tomb. Ideally. Well. You like rocks and you have yet to strike the earth? Well, I mean, how else are you going to see all of the beautiful rocks without striking the earth a couple times? Oh, what? Oh, I see. You moved it. Huh! Oh, when full. When empty. All right, let's try this. Come on, Dwarfus. Let's go. Why is there fighting? Come on. I wonder if I put a trash dump zone right here and I deconstruct this and I tell you to get dumped. What happens? That is the question. What happens? They probably throw it onto this side. Actually, why don't I do this? Let's go back into this. Let's build a wall right here. Let's build a track stop right here. And let's make the route right here. And we'll just leave you forbidden until I need you. Because I want to know which part of this is failing to function. It might just be going backwards as well. Which is always funny when that's the case. But that's the next thing I'll try, is I'll try going it from the other hitting it from the other direction. Because maybe like the way this ends up going is they drop down here and then shoot around this way. We'll see. It always takes me a couple tries to get these running. Chad, is there a mechanic or exploit or system in Dwarf Fortress that always takes you like 4 or 5 times to make it work right? Because that's me in a nutshell with the impulse ramps. Whenever I try to do them, it's always like, well, this ain't working. Time to rebuild the whole thing twice. Now we wait. And now we wait. And now we wait. Also, chat, have any of you been playing anything interesting that's new recently? I need to play more Goblin Camp, but I also am kind of torn because I would like to try playing Fights in Tight Spaces, or I mean, Knights in Tight Spaces, not which is the, I guess, successor or sequel. Okay, so it does work. I just have them going backwards. Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. So in that case, if you missed it, it does work. It's just going backwards. Did you miss it, chat? Do you want to see it again? What do you think? Yes? No? Or should I just keep plucking away and building? I guess I'll just keep plucking away and building. Anyway, there it goes again. I can tell when chat's asleep and doesn't want direct interaction. Have I tried Vintage Story? I don't really have any interest in Vintage Story, so I haven't really contemplated the concept of trying it. Why would I try a game I have no interest in? I like when chat is conversing. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going crazy and talking to myself. Your hands are tied? Oh no! Should get some scissors. Hello, Salsas. Playing Monon? How dare you play games? What do you think this is? A place where gamers hang out? Tisk. Sorry, trying to make your dwarves do their jobs. Yeah, you're permitted, don't worry. From VS Modding. Trying to wrap my brain around what that is. Vintage Story, right. Yeah, I don't know. I understand why people like Vintage Story, but I think in order to like Vintage Story, you have to like survival crafting games. Because I don't enjoy survival crafting games. I kind of wish I did, because there's so many of them. It's like getting all-you-can-eat buffet for all eternity, but I really don't like them. I find them boring at best. Every single time I've tried one, it's just not been my bag, I guess. You know what really bums me out? Keeper RL used a image generator to generate its main menu background. It really bothers me. Like, I noticed that recently. I was like, what? Come on, man. Why would you do that? It's one image. Just commission a piece of art. Fucking fan could do that for you for free. I mean, I would argue Minecraft is Minecraft for adults. It's Minecraft that is intentionally more obtuse, is what Vintage Story is. I don't find complicated crafting systems to be fun to interact with. It's one of the reasons I like Dwarf Fortress, is because it doesn't really have any super complicated crafting systems. Like having to go out and collect items to go collect more items to make more items. I've tried. To give you an idea, I don't like Terraria. Like, if you want to know like how much I am turned off by those kinds of mechanics, I don't like Terraria. I'm not into Path of Exile, not because I'm not into Path of Exile. In theory, I should love Path of Exile. I don't see very well, and Path of Exile, and I guess action RPGs in general, is a genre full of games that are so fucking visually busy, I can't even distinguish what I'm supposed to be looking at, let alone looking at it. It could be Minecraft modding wise. Totally. I'm not following Fangrate, but I mean, the most complicated recipe in Dwarf Fortress is like probably porcelain, right? Or maybe paper would be the most complicated crafting recipe in Dwarf Fort. And like that's only if you decide to do it the hard way. Soap is make ash from wood, make lye at an ashery, make soap after you've butchered an animal. It's not a lot of steps. Speaking of soap, how much do I have? We got a decent amount of sheep soap. Like, when it comes to actual crafting games, like, Dwarf Fortress is not even remotely complicated. And that's one of the reasons I like it. And then games that are entirely built around crafting as the appeal have always just overwhelmingly turned me off. I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, you can make ceramics. You just have to find the stuff for it, which is the hard part. That is already more steps than the most complicated crafting item in Dwarf Fort, Dark Sun. It's also a game that's focused around multiplayer. I know you can be like, you can play it in single player. I have no interest in Vintage Story. It's an open world survival crafting game. Sorry, you've lost me based on the genre. It's like, what you're trying to do right now is you're trying to explain to somebody who hates platforming games why they would really like Celeste. You're like, but the story is so good. Yeah, but the like mechanics that the game is built on are mechanics I don't enjoy. So it does not matter how good the game is if the game in and of itself is built on mechanics that I don't find fun to play. Which is the problem that I've had with every single open world survival crafting game I've ever played. They're all, at the end of the day, open world survival crafting games. You could be the best open world survival crafting game ever made, and I don't want to play it. So, I don't know. It's the easiest way here I could do this. I guess it would probably be like this. Yeah, okay, I see what I have to do. Except then I still managed to do it wrong. Okay. I don't get the point then, I guess. I'll just say that. Because I don't. Vintage Story is one of those games that I don't really know how to respond when people talk to me about it because of how little interest I have in it. Like, if you're just trying to talk about why you like the game, then that's fantastic. I'm glad that there's a video game that you like. But usually when people ask me about games, it's because they want me to stream it, which, sure. However, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. See, the Fertile Crescent TFC to me is an indie RTS that nobody plays, but it's interesting to know that there's a Minecraft mod of the same name. It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste, and I'm the weird one, because, like, open world survival crafting games are maybe the most popular genre of games that exists right now. That's like a recent-ish genre, like in the last 15 years. Because survival games like that didn't really exist, like in the mid-2000s. And I remember thinking back, or thinking about games like that, like, because if you were anything like me as a kid, I used to sit around and imagine video games, and like what certain games could be like. And I would always imagine and think about survival crafting games, and I always imagined them as something that would be really cool. And then when, like, DayZ came out, I remember trying it and being utterly repulsed. Like going, this is awful. Why would anybody want to do this? And being completely frank, I still kind of feel that way. And every time I look around, I feel like it's a genre that I'm less interested in. But it's a genre that more people are playing or want to be playing. And now I'm just at a point where it's just like, is it me? Am I the idiot? Like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I like these games that everybody likes? Because by all accounts, they seem really cool most of the time. See, what you're describing, Darkson, is why I like traditional roguelikes. I just don't stream most of them because they're really hard to stream and people don't like watching them most of the time. Like a lot of, and this is also why I like strategy games, you know, like tactics games. I think this is also why like card battlers are so popular, is because like they're games that require a different kind of skill than, you know, point gun good. You know, like it's a different skill set and a different style of gameplay to other things. And I think that's awesome. And I'm very happy that exists. I just wish I knew what was wrong with me and why I don't like open world survival crafting games and why I'm so repulsed by them. Let's see if this sucker works. I should fire it that way. Like, I was practically ostracized by my friend crew at the time for not liking Terraria, which is also baffling to me. Like, apparently you're basically the devil if you don't like Terraria. Yep. All right, well, this works. Thunk. Now I just got to accelerate it. Good news, everybody. We done did it. Different strokes for different folks, you suppose? Yeah, I mean, I don't mind what. And here's the other weird thing. I have people tell me this all the time in reference to Dwarf Fortress. I like watching open world survival crafting games. I just don't like playing them. Like, I guess it's kind of in like similar to Factorio, where I like watching Factorio. I don't like playing Factorio because playing the game just feels like work. It feels like a job. And if a game feels like a job to me, and I don't feel like I'm being creative in a positive way, or I'm able to do something unique and interesting every time, I feel like I'm just sitting on a treadmill. And I think that, to me, open world survival crafting games just feel like a treadmill. It's like when people talk to me about wouldn't it be cool if adventure mode had X survival feature and X survival feature and this survival feature, this survival feature for this survival feature. I'm like, oh, that's suddenly now we're talking now this game's tedious. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just feel tedious to me and slow. For not liking mobile, as in like not liking phone games? Arende? Also, hi Arende, what's up? You know, outside of maybe 2048, I don't think there was a phone game that I ever liked, and that wasn't even the original. That was a clone of a game called Threes, which I never played. I think that if a game is best, I think this is maybe the issue that I have with open world survival crafting games. I think in theory I like open world survival crafting games, but the second a game feels like it's built to be played with other people, it feels less fun to play by yourself. And I don't generally, or at least for me, it feels less fun to play by myself. I generally don't like playing games that are best played with other people. Absolutely loathe it. I love Tarkov in theory. Genuinely. Like, theoretically, I should love Tarkov. I just don't see well enough to play it. And then I end up just playing Stalker instead. Because Stalker does everything that I wish Tarkov would do. I'm not a fan of Eve then. You know, fun fact. I tried to get into Eve because I had some friends that got into Eve years ago. I don't know, 2008 or something. And I bought the game because you had to buy it at the time. And started playing. And then I got to the point where I had to buy another month. And my mom said no. And so I never played Eve again. And honestly, I think she did me a favor in hindsight. Although at that time, I played a lot of MMOs, not because I liked them, but because my friends played them. And I guess it was like self-pressure or something. And there was a point where I just stopped because I was like, I'm not enjoying any minute of any of these games. I don't understand why people enjoy these. This is just like what could be a really, like the thing that I hate the most about Elite Dangerous isn't any part of the gameplay of Elite Dangerous. It's the fact that Elite Dangerous is an MMO. Like in theory, Elite Dangerous should be the best game ever made, and I should love that game and would play a shit ton of it, grindy ass mechanics and all, if it was just a single player game. But the fact that it's a multiplayer game just completely kills it for me. Just completely. All right. No, you can't. Well, I mean, you can. Yeah, Hort. But in order to experience a lot of the mechanics in the game, you have to play with other people. Because if you want to take part in any of the cool shit that's actually happening in the game, it's a multiplayer experience. There's no AI ships that'll assist you. Like, I can't... I know someone's just going to be like, play X Foundations! I know. But this is just an example. I can't participate in the Thargoid Wars because I'll miss them because events are happening that are part of a live game, not a single player game. I want a cutscene. I want to go explore the stuff that happened 5 years ago in the in-game events, but I can't because it's a multiplayer game, not a single player game. You know, like, and any game that does that just, well, you've kind of made it so that I don't want to play your game, and I also don't want to interact with the community for your game. I just want to play a game. I don't want to interact with your thing. And I guess, like, at the end of the day, it just comes down to I don't like live service games. But a lot of open world survival crafting games are kind of inherently built around that kind of structure anyway. So that's, I guess, maybe another turnoff, which is unrelated, but... Well, I mean, here's the thing. One doesn't happen without the other. Really. In a world where the word world is being used too many times in this sentence. In a world where World of Warcraft never came out, and Guild Wars never came out, and Destiny never came out, I don't know if we would have the same style of everybody's in this world together. Because what you describe as a live service game, sorry, bud, that's a modern MMO as far as I'm concerned. If it's a game that's designed to be played with other people, and that's how they are funding the game by making you play with other people, they're basically the same thing at this point. I mean, when it comes to MMOs in the traditional term, there's only like 3 games that ever really made it big in that genre. Although I'm not really counting EverQuest. So it's like, it's not the vast majority of those multiplayer experience games, right? Anyway, this is terrible. A forgotten beast named Uru Sodostaru has come. A great beakless woodpecker. It has a long, straight horn and a bloated body. Its crimson feathers are narrow. Beware its deadly dust. It came from above, and we all feared. Well, that's horrifying. All right, so... No, totally, James Peach, and I did that for 400 hours. But you know what? If it was actually a single-player game that I could do things in a single-player format primarily, I would still be playing it. Right, let's just put everybody into this. Take everybody out of here. Turn this on. Set you there. And set the Mark Dwarves back there. And cross our fingers and pray. Because really, that's what we need right now. Wish us luck, chat, because we may be in trouble, depending on how bad this is. It's a beakless bird, yep, that expels deadly dust. It's a very dusty bird. Oh yeah, I still wonder if that's intended. If it's not intended, it is brutal. Serious salsas. Well, I mean, watch this. Ooh, oh, that's brutal already. The good news is the beast is bleeding. Which leads me to believe that it's a bleeding dust. This dwarf up here may be a hero. I mean, it did strike it repeatedly in the head with a copper pick. Creature's now bleeding heavily and cannot breathe, so it's lost its spine somewhere. So it's going to suffocate. Mayhaps dwarf here will escape. More dust comes through. Is it stunning dust? Is that what it's doing? The creature gets knocked backwards and... Okay, never mind. Just has trouble breathing. He can breathe again. We've lost Stormwolf and Tun. These are dwarves trying to get home, by the way. Just make sure they're not going this way. There we go. Let's see who's here. Ingiz is down here. What's the total kill count of this thing? Votok was the most recent. It's like I could send the military over here, but I'd rather they're properly set up and ready to go. So everybody but Zalvi have their weapons, so I presume Zalvi's off to get his. This thing doesn't seem that strong, but certainly not weak. Run away there, dwarf. Okay. Send the military in. It's still bleeding. See if I can get the militia over here. Oopsies. They'd be coming from this side, which they are, in fact. All right. Beast sits here and scares a child who's playing make-believe. Bad timing, kiddo. And my spear dwarf is now in the fray. Beginning to fight the creature. And also is bouncing repeatedly, very far away. The Mark's dwarves are now into in the fighting alongside of it. It's up in the tree with this dwarf, who's currently in an unreachable location. The creature's bleeding. Knocks the dwarf back down. A shear has been found dead. Pardon this. This requires an answer, does it now? Let's see. Are you able to get a bolt off? Because bolts will fly through the dust. Won't care. Does kind of look like he got a bolt out. I don't know if it hit, though. Creature's now bleeding heavily.
How goes the dwarfing?
Pretty good. Alexander. Yep, he did in fact get hit by a bolt. Also, the potash maker's punching it. See, flying steel bolt strikes it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move the squads up to here. Oh! Looks like Avu's got through and got the kill. After getting caught in dust underground. Dusty. A good dwarf. How about the two stuck up in trees? Maybe they got down. Was it carrying a person? It was probably just knocking them around. I don't think they can actually grab anything. So we lost 4 dwarves. Not too bad. All things considered. Not too bad. The real question is, are they going to die now? I do have one dwarf over here who's unconscious because they decided to sleep. Ah, we've got a fever breaking out. It's just a slight fever. I wonder if this is the one where they just fall asleep and sleep in, like, forever. It's probably pushing them. I mean, because they can push sprites around, right? So now we get to find out if they, in fact, get over this fever or not. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. I'm just going to forbid this. And this. Go odd goo, hey? Why don't we allow you to have some peculiar juice? Yeah, well, okay, you just take a nap instead. All right, well, they seem to be getting over that fever pretty quickly. So if it's just a temporary fever, that's not so bad. You, however, are going to go rest. If you lock them in a room and they're hungry or thirsty and it is a food or a liquid, they will drink it or eat it. And yes, it does heal them. I was able to make a dwarf walk again. So I need a temple complex and a high priest, and I also need a craftsdwarf guild. For the craftsdwarf guild, I think I'm going to do that over here. Also, you right here. I must have baby turtles. I do have baby turtles! Slightly smaller big turtles. Now the question is, how long do they take to get full grown? Probably a couple of years at least. Yeah, there you go. They're baby turtle. You're surprised the healing effects work in fort mode? I'm not, because it's literally just it's triggering a syndrome, right? Although, I'll admit, this is actually a bit redundant making this dwarf do it, because you don't need it. Question is, do I have any injured dwarves? Erdem. You're using a crutch. You go stand here. Your ability to stand is lost. Let's get this dwarf healed, shall we? Although I need you to drop that plump helmet. Or just get it dumped out of their inventory. Although it actually, never mind, it's just a spawn. It's not actually a plump helmet. Yeah, no, I'm going to make this dwarf rise to the occasion. Why is there a wild boar in my fort? That's awkward. I like the size of a golf ball. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason so many people end up with pet turtles they can't take care of, is because they get them when they're the size of $1, and then they grow to be the size of a small child. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know. The dwarf really doesn't trust me that I'm going to heal them. You know, more than halfway to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. You know, I mean, I explain the way adventure mode development works to everybody, to people, because believe it or not, there are people who don't like adventure mode, which crazy, right? And they often insist that like the reason anybody plays this game is fort mode. So obviously nobody in their right mind could possibly enjoy a mode that isn't fortress mode, which it's sad that some people feel that way, but it's the truth. Now, because it is the truth, you should go drink that peculiar juice. You thirsty? Okay, so we'll lock this. First, you're gonna go clean up that dwarf's vomit. Also, I'm in an ad break, so I'll pause. But a lot of the way I describe adventure mode to people who don't care, I guess is maybe the better way to put it, is adventure mode is just like engine development for Dwarf Fortress, because a lot of the changes that are made to adventure mode work backwards into fortress mode in some way. You drink the funny juice and not the vomit. You're not wrong, Belug. Even beyond the tutorial, as well as with any further you want. Happy to help, Eddie Dingle. All right, so we should be through the ads now. What I was saying was that the way I explain adventure mode to people who don't like adventure mode is if they're developing adventure mode, it's going to work its way back into fortress mode eventually. So if you're unsatisfied with like fortress mode and you're like, well, I want something to change in how fortress mode works. Well, adventure mode changes usually end up functioning in fortress mode somehow. And to me, that's enough, right? Like, that's all I want. Also, unforbid this. I don't know why you're doing a solo training session. That's a little odd. Let's just take you off duty. Okay, you're gonna go clean. You're also cleaning. Oh, come on. Well, I guess that's food. We've now learned that Curious Jam is food, chat. This dwarf doesn't need it. I'm gonna forbid that out of your hands. Drop it. Bad dwarf. So is this what you're gonna go for now? No? Oh, come on. I thought we talked about this dwarf. I guess not. What kind of dwarf would you like, Arende? Preferably bald, crafter, or smith. I would give you that one, but that one is already named. What about you? Odd goo. Let's unforbid the odd goo. Can you go for the odd goo? Odd goo to you too. Oh, well. It's not accessible from up here. Well, shit. How about this? Curious Jam. Unusual whack. I'm pretty sure that's also food. No? No bogus? A snatcher? And a dwarf was found dead. Uh-oh. But, not sure how that happened. Well, that's unfortunate. Also, shouldn't this door be locked? I feel like it should. All right, Erdem, I'm just going to lock this door too. We're just going to make my life easy here. Why are people dying? Okay, no, it's just snatchers. They are going for this baby. Good luck. They're into bed. We'll see you later. But, okay. So, Miranda, you wanted a bald dwarf, right? I'm presume, do you want a beard or no beard? I will tell you, actually, now that I look at this for, I've kind of screwed up on the bald dwarf requests. It's really hard to tell who's bald. Most people have hats on. How about you? I mean, that's Lady Dwarf, and she bald. I mean, I could give you this dwarf. Or I could just give you the one I'm staring at, Arende. I mean, I think this guy's bald. It's kind of hard to tell. I do know that Erdem is bald. But they are in the military. Wait, no, you're not bald. You have hair. What? Fuck. Crap. As long as they're a crafter or a smith, you're good. How about we just go with unknowable mystery? Arende drops any activity at the slightest bit of difficulty, even the suggestion of effort being required. Forms strong emotional bonds with others, at times to his detriment, and has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications. Finds helping others emotionally rewarding, and he likes to take it easy. He generally finds himself to be quite hopeful about the future, and does not easily fall in love or develop positive feelings. He can sometimes act without deliberation and could be considered rude. He is somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger, and he tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others. He struggles against this tendency as he finds such expression offensive, and he prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible. He personally believes that it is important to conceal emotions and refrain from complaining, and values nature and values honesty and values loyalty and values a harmonious existence. He likes wood, platinum, and red tourmaline, as well as warhammers, togas, and large gems, coins, and carp for their protruding mouths. And the words of the fancy meditations, and when possible, prefers to consume dwarven ale and hates fire snakes. Is married to Cicatrixa, and Demon Stir is her kid, or his kid, rather. He's a member of the Order of Dust, and his face veil is about to fall apart. Why can't you assign merchant dwarves to military squad? Because merchants are merchants and cannot, and are usually, I say usually, not part of your faction proper. If they're not part of your faction properly, then they are not capable of joining the fortress, if that makes any sense. Okay, so you leave. We'll lock this door. Come on, Dwarf. That or get hungry, one of the two. Okay, well, you're going to go eat, so that'll do. So this is what I mean. So this dwarf currently has no ability to stand. Watch them find like one piece of food stuff in here that is actual just normal food. Okay, he's going for the curious jam. So if I look at his thing, he's currently got no ability to stand, and now that he's eaten it, he can drop his crutch once he's done eating it, because he's going to lose this, which is funny because before he's even done eating it, he's already regained the ability to stand. The sad part is he won't appreciate it and doesn't know the gift that he's been given. But our dwarf can now, once again, stand. And run at full speed. Look at that. I'm glad they don't, because it gives ramps a reason to exist, Red Fogel. I'm kind of happy that ramps exist. Because stairs are nice to a point, but eventually they all just start looking vertical. And at least for me, that kind of loses some of its charm pretty quickly. But yeah, we've just completed a miracle. The problem is it's a very limited miracle that I can only complete so many times in this fort. That's the main issue. And now you're all dizzy. Well, I mean, can't fix everything, right? The Amethyst people don't talk. They also don't seem to have emotions. They feel nothing. Which is kind of funny. Speaking of things that are kind of funny, there's this, right? This is the Mysterious Palace. I settled in a really big map. This is 7x7, so that I'd be nice and far away from it. If I go to the overworld, that is that Mysterious Palace. I'm going to quick save and try and attack that Sirius Palace. I want to know what happens if I tell my army to go attack something that's on my map. You guys ready for some science? It may end with a reload. Investments are open also if you care. Because I want to know what happens if I tell them to go attack something that's technically on my map. I have a feeling they're going to leave the map and we'll get a combat log. But I'm not positive. So we'll find out. Blabbity blah, I fucking love science, or whatever. So now let's go to the overworld. Go here. Click this. And just say raid. What happens if I raid this? Because I have a feeling they're just going to literally leave the map.
Over here, he has a sword.
Most of them have spears, but sure. Should stop rendering fat. You might siege yourself. Wouldn't that be funny? Dupe items can happen. I mean, I think one of two things is going to happen. The game invents another entity for on my map, which I think is the more likely one. The other thing that I think that could happen is they leave the map and then crash the game. I think it's going to be one of the two. But I'm pretty sure they're going to leave the map. Considering a bunch of them have already left. Although it would be even funnier if they just go stand in the middle of this, and then I get a combat log, but... No. I was hopeful for a second there. And then there they go, off the map. Also, fun fact, which may shock you, I've been streaming for 8 hours. Where'd the time go? Okay, so I just need Erdim to leave now. He's booking it around, picking up equipment. And Katana's taking forever because she's hauling a dolomite boulder. I don't need you to take this dolomite boulder. Somebody come get this boulder from this dwarf. Anybody, please, just tell this dwarf to drop this goddamn boulder. There you go. Somebody grabbed it. Sweet. To dump that out of your inventory. You silly, silly dwarf. Also, a dwarf has begun a mysterious construction. Oh, crap. We made Formula One's most annoying driver. Cyril, the engraver, has created Balalebimat, a lignite Ocon, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor, Aban Wood Mansions. What is it? It is... It's a large handheld metal musical instrument which uses a handheld leather bellows to pressurize air. So it's a metal accordion. Yeah, because it's like a mixture between like bagpipes and an accordion. All Craftstar ship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with rectangular lignite cabochons and decorated with llama wool cabochons. And menaces with spikes of llama wool, and tower cap on the item is an image of trillion cut gem in sardonyx. It's a pretty item. Okay, so you've left map. How about you? Well, you're still picking up stuff, so. Fun to watch science. There we go. Everybody likes a good science experiment. Okay, so not everybody's left map yet, but the frame rate did drop a bit, which I think is interesting. Oh, you're picking up equipment. Got it. Man, Dwarf, where are you getting all this stuff from? I think I need an armor stockpile. Oh, I see the problem. Ah, didn't fully solve it. I need to run into the other room to fix it. You guys can watch this dwarf leave eventually. I'll be back in a sec. I need to loosen the separators on that door so that it doesn't slam so much. These are hand-me-downs from my uncle. Uh-oh. Oh, no. One of my cougars were trying to kill my baby tortoises. I hate this. Don't you dare kill my baby torties. They did nothing wrong. Okay, now it's your turn to leave. Hey, Too Tall Dad Gaming, what up? Did you always have turbo? I don't recall you having a turbo badge. Anyway, hi, what's up? All right, so now they've all left. So the building they are attacking is this. Oh, look, they've returned. Uh-huh. And apparently they have a spoils report. Well, they looted treasure. What'd they get? A hemp dress and a silver splint. So they looted items from it. Let's, raid it again. No. Don't go eat. Go kill it again. Or go eat. Okay, fine. Wait, did they loot the splint that was dropped at the place? They looted the splint that was in here, yes. I guarantee you they're duping it. I guarantee you they're duping it. Because items don't unexist themselves from a current map. That's... Oh! Huh. Look at that. You just gained some teeth back, Olin. Olin's like, I'm here to get a pay raise. Somebody go back in the VOD. Was there 4 or was there 5 previously? Actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I think I might be able to micromanage this into making them heal. So this dwarf started eating that. Didn't finish it. I forbid it. They're satisfied with hunger and healed, and it's still there. So I think with some careful forbidding, Motherfuckers, I can heal all injuries. Because she didn't finish it. They just have to lick it. They just need to hold it. Quick, everybody play hot potato with the healing potion. Just pass it in a circle. It's a very manual medical system. So if I dump this, but get rid of that, and get rid of that, and then go to right here. Dump it right there. Now I'm actually like really curious as to what'll happen. Because this is set to be dumped. The items inside of it are forbidden. So they shouldn't eat it. Shouldn't. But now I guess we just have to wait. So I need to pretty some stuff up real quick, which I will do while that is working. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep getting distracted. Might as well recognize a high priest to this because I can. So Lanix and Bert are now the two priests of this religion. But this one down here, no, not, whoa, wait, what? Which was the one then that has... No, it was you, the Doctrine of Bronze. Okay, well, that was easy. Wait, what? Hold on. I have a mission to raid Witchdark. What the fuck is a Witchdark? Well, they're going to the right place at least. I'm not gonna lie, this would be exceptionally tedious to manage. But like, I kind of want to, you know what I mean? Like just having the ability to, even if it's like the most redonkulous micromanaging ever, right? Just being able to actually cause dwarves to self-heal would be massive. Absolutely fucking massive. Unrelated, I'm getting some frame rate stutter, which probably is due to the size of the map. And you, right here. Let's see how fast this sucker goes now. Place track vehicle. Let's also jump over to here. Make this into a craftsdwarf shop or zone. Craftsdwarf's guild. I keep getting distracted in this fort. This has been like one of the most chronically distracted forts I think I've ever made in recent memory. General craftsing. There you go. That'll get everything constructed in a reasonably-ish, decent-ish amount of time-ish. Tedium is better than dead dwarves. Well, tedium is better than maimed dwarves. I don't know. I think I would rather have dead dwarves. If actually given the option, I think I would rather have dead dwarves. Because, like, the reason I retired Winter Throne, the vampire fortress, wasn't because I got tired of the fortress. I was just tired of dealing with these permanently injured, debilitated, upset vampires. So let's see how fast this sucker gets going. So what I'm doing is I'm placing this minecart onto the cannon. So let's see how fast we can get these cannon going. So if you like watching thing go fast, maybe look up. Otherwise, feel free to continue lurking. It may also dominoes affect a bunch of my dwarves to death, but, you know, we can't all win. Whoa, okay, well. Kind of got stuck in the hole, so... But it did go fast. So that's good. If I go down into here... Will it fly through? That's the next question. That's what he said? Uh-huh. I think that worked pretty flawlessly. Because it does, in fact, go very quick. Which is what we want. I'm also curious if I load things into it, if this will eject the stuff at the end. Because the actual plan for this is to dig it down another layer. Oh, dwarves are back. We're also in an ad break. Well, they got more stuff. This was a silver scimitar, was what they brought back. That's funky. You might get red paste by any passerby. I mean, that is the intent. That is the intent. Well, I mean, obviously not my own dwarves. But zombies or goblins or anything evil. And the intent is to also use, like, platinum minecarts and not these fungi wood ones. These flimsy light things. We want to use something big and heavy. Like, you know, gold or something else heavy. You know, as you do. Okay, so you go back up to here. You should get punted. Now we wait for a dwarf to come and kick it. Fortunately, the ads will be over before it happens, and then boop! Excellent. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. That is, in fact, what we want to see. Now, the other question is, if I were to put, say, hypothetically, you know, for fun, of course, a fortification right here, would it fly through it? That's the question. Would it fly through it? Because I don't know. I don't know if it would fly through it. Man, the dwarf working at this workshop must be sweating. It's just like, hey, what's the scariest job in the fort right now? Working in this workshop because occasionally you just get your eyebrows removed, or maybe the dwarf working on this. All right, well. Somebody come into place. Minecart. Where did minecart go? No. No, no, no. No. Huh? Minecart? Did I unexist the minecart? Oh, there it is. I don't know why I couldn't find it. Oh, because somebody else was moving it elsewhere. Well, makes sense. Runs down here. Well, I'm also using fungi wood, right? So it's not necessarily going to completely kill a dwarf. But as soon as I replace these with platinum, then yeah. Okay, so it doesn't go through this. However, an Eton has come. A giant humanoid monster with 2 heads. Well, that's cute. Whatever Saw will do. Scream at it. It may actually get caught in my traps before it gets to me. It also has a fun toy, which is a hornblende slab. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It reads, "The secrets of life and death." Uh-huh. Mad bug hole? Mad bug hole. I don't know what you mean by mad bug hole. You mean mad bug hole? And it seems like Aloth here, my Mark's Dwarf, got here first. Managed to okay, well, did manage to loose a singular bolt at it and is now dodging. It's my own fault for having the militia off duty. Here comes my other Mark's Dwarf, who's sitting back here and firing bolts at it. Zalvi is getting his day in the sun. Shoots another bolt and it misses. You know, if you live here, I will allow you to consume the forbidden paste. The creature is now overexerted. This dwarf managed to stop bleeding somehow. Did it hit you with it? I wonder. No, okay, he wasn't trying to hit you with them. Spear dwarves arrive. And the creature is now dead. However, we now have not 1, but 2 seriously injured dwarves. So let me jump down to here for a second. And as you can see, we did in fact manage to get this into here. It's a shame. Necromancers can't read, right? So I want to know if I can micro these dwarves into eating this. That's what I would like to know. Also, you're supposed to get fed, too. Okay, these dwarves are all lining up in here. You're over here to diagnose the boy. He's now got a crutch. And is now stationing with the rest of them. So now I'm going to do something quite simple. I'm going to lock this door, and I'm going to lock this door. And I'm going to unforbid this and stare at it. Sorry, Dwarf, that didn't make it in. Okay. This Dwarf just consumed the unusual wax and is still technically eating. But if you'll see, I just forbid it. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before. There's still 5. Let's unforbid them again. Except for the one that you're supposedly eating. Does it disappear? Yes, it does. Okay, so I can't infinitely dupe these then. Also, this is the only dwarf I actually want to eat this. Which he is. But, okay, now this is even more interesting. Okay, so if they're injured, they'll stop eating it when I forbid it and get the healing effects. If they're not, then they consume it all. Well, I mean, I just made this dwarf able to stand again. I just fixed this dwarf's leg. Is what I just did. Oh, now you're gonna go eat it anyway. What? But stop! Cease! Goddamn. No, I settled on a mysterious palace. So, like, this dwarf still has severe blood loss, but that'll go away with time. But now he's trying to go eat it again. Look at this. Yeah, see, he's insisting on eating it. I mean, I don't blame him. I wonder if there's something hard-coded in where they go back and finish their meals. He's still in pain? Yeah, but he couldn't stand before. And now he can't, now he can stand. No, he's in pain because he's pale. This? Pale. That's the issue. I could just forbid entry to the... You know, I'm curious. We'll just let him eat it. And also severe blood loss heals. What are you doing? Well, they go and start training being Mark's dwarves, which is good. Also, he's now just faint instead of pale, so he's down to moderate blood loss. So he is getting over his blood loss. He's refilling the blood tanks. Very important. But literally, he can stand. Like, this dwarf was in crutches with splints. Kind of like Thread gets for hospital stuff? I highly doubt it. Sage Bitey. Also, do I still have that minecart running? It's the next question. Yes, I do. Okay, well, I will forbid that. So we can finish constructing this, because I want to know if it'll go through this. I mean, I'd believe it, honestly. Lick it and it's yours. If it works for bratty kids in elementary school, why wouldn't it work for dwarves? Okay, so now I'm going to unforbid you, and we'll see if you go through the thing. We'll now find out. Otherwise, I'll just try removing the, whatchamacall. I'll just try removing the, can't remember what I was going to say, but... make dwarves hunt as better training for crossbow? Oh, certainly, but it's also more dangerous training for crossbow. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to deconstruct this, and we'll just let them fall down a layer. Or two. But yeah, of course it's better training for crossbow. I just don't care. It's kind of that simple. Like, is it better training for crossbows? Absolutely. I don't really care that it's better training for crossbows. It's not important to me. I'd rather have safe training for crossbows, where they're not on the surface when enemies attack. And with their ammo being evenly distributed everywhere. Let's just forbid this right now, because there's one other thing I want to check. That would be nice. It's kind of what I'm intending or hoping for. Let's fire another one. Although, honestly, I'm probably going to speed this up more, because this is just going to be the actual loading barrel. I'm planning to have either a ramp system or some other method. So yeah, that jumps the gap. They'll jump I guess they jump the gap if there's no ramp, which was the issue before. All right, well, that works flawlessly. So I can build more of those. But probably what I'm going to do is just have like a ramp system going up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 up to here. And then have like a loading assault battery here. And then either using levers or even just doing it manually. We'll go down a ramp, down a ramp, down a ramp, down a ramp, and then pop out here, and then connect to this, and then over here, and then drop down onto this, and then go whoomp, and then smack into whoever's unlucky enough to be in the way. I think that'll be fun. What do you think? Should be a good old-fashioned mess. And turn things into some sort of paste. So you'll go there. You go there. And you're going to go up to there. Except I'm having to cross the thing that I went through again. Because, you know, I'm good at planning ahead. It's okay. They'll get going faster. So you go up here, you go up here, you go up here, and you go up here. Go up there. You go up there. You go up there. And the dead walk. Hide while you still can. Yeah, well. Trust me, if I have to fire those at the enemy, we got bigger problems than a couple dwarves getting smacked.
Bring out your dead.
So this is going to be probably a collection of powered locations with a drawbridge in front of it. So drawbridge 1, drawbridge 2, drawbridge 3, and then just power all the way up and down on either side. And then when it fires, it then loads up the next one. That's kind of what I'm thinking. As for the baddies, well, they do walk, and we shall hide while we still can, which is right the fuck now, so let's do our best to hide. I'm gonna turn on this burrow. Although maybe I'll actually let them in that way. Let's lock this door. And not worry about this one. You want to see how I do the reload? Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just playing dwarfs today. I was kind of thinking about maybe buying tights and fight, or knights in tight spaces. Not tights and night spaces. Knights in tight spaces and playing that today, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh boy. This is going to get gnarly. That poor wild boar. They're all chasing this one wild boar. Poor piggy. It's just like getting surrounded by zombies. Oh no. Well, that's not going to do anything to it, but the Forgotten Beast, Rithmasa Fawikamuria Rithasha Meniva has come, a enormous quadruped composed of vomit. It has an obby shell, and it probably smells worse than the last one. And it has a gaunt appearance. So would I if I was made of vomit. And it's composed of tweets. It has webs. Fear it. Oh, it can't get to me, so that's fine. These poor tortoises. This is kind of a mess. Is there a necromancer on the map? No. I'm sorry, what? I have a caged goblin who also happens to be a sacred saffron. Just like a religious leader. Huh. And for those of you who want to see this, this is what this looks like in ASCII. The wild boar is still running from it, by the way. Just in case you're wondering. Although it seems like one of the intelligent undeads has found its way in. So I'm hoping we actually get to have a proper fight at the front of the fortress. That's what I'm hoping. So I've discovered something that really sucks. These animals are domesticated, but if you war train them, your military kills them. Because they keep killing them. So. So ideally, this is where the fight's going to take place. At this gate. Because I want this to be the area I defend from enemy forces. Looks like they killed the giant tortoises. And are still chasing that wild boar. We may be here a while. Well, I mean, the exotic pets that I have that I'm talking about aren't normal exotic pets. They're exotic pets that have modifiers on them that came from the Mysterious Palace, which I literally had to use DF hack to get to join me in the first place. So they don't really count. That's kind of me trying to fuck with the system, basically. Yeah, no, that not normal circumstances by any stretch. Let's just go down to here and build this up a little bit. Obviously, none of this is actually ready to go, but and let's also dig this up an extra little bit. And you up an extra little bit. I mean, how far up does this actually need to go? To there? Yeah, that's fine. And the dwarves came home with some beak dogs. I was sad that you couldn't train them. At least they make for a decent egg farm. Yeah, they're pretty good livestock. They're just not great when it comes to, you know, doing more than that. Oh, that was quick. Wild boar leather and iron bars. It's an armorer. You're going the wrong way. My fort's this way. Although I could actually let them in this way. Go north. Hey, Stubbs. North. They're not super bright, are they? Oop. Maybe they're getting the idea. Maybe not. All right, night-night, Bastet. Well, thanks for subscribing, 44. Appreciate you. Sorry if I missed you a while ago. I don't look at the YouTube chat as often. Yeah, their brains are kind of rotten. Feels mean to say, but it is true. Huh, well, I found the aquifer. Doran, the armorer, has created Landlord the Dock, an iron helm. And I'm going to give it to the militia captain. Oops. Headwear. Specific helm. Landlord the Dock. Go get it after you know, put this stuff away. You also really want to eat a good meal. Well, I guess we'll have to permit it. Yeah, but this is that's doing that in what's it called? In adventure mode, right? Ramusher? This is me using DF hack to embark anywhere and settle on top of a mythic site. I think those are two slightly different things. Two slightly different things. Same end situation, but two slightly different things. But it's good to know that that's possible from that direction. Should go dig, right? Yeah, there you go. We're in an ad break, so I will pause game. Man, it's been almost 9 hours. Shit. Out of curiosity, how many of you in chat are asleep? We still have a lot of people here? According to the old Twitchosphere, it says there's 200 watching. And on the UbTubs, we've got 80. You were asleep? Well, welcome back, Stone. I mean, you literally just tuned in, right? I do forget that time zones exist. Oh, shit. I just received $700 from my old landlord. Not the sort of thing you expect to see every day, but hey, I ain't complaining. It's me getting my damage deposit back. Is what happened there. Yeah, I did. Hot damn. Just looking while a kid does an extracurricular activity. Well, that's good. And it's going directly onto my credit card. Because, it's my life. It's looking like it's paying off debts, exactly. All right, so we're through that. These zombies are, very slow-moving threat, but they're still a threat. Oh, you're the one that wants the bigger, fancier thing. Did I unforbid that slab, is the question. I'll worry about that later. But this one would like a fancier setup. Ooh, rock salt it'll be. The nice pink tavern of, or not tavern, temple is the one dedicated to the god of death. Because of course. I mean, unlike a couple months ago, I do actually have debt now. Elfie, so. I would like to get that paid off, but that's going to take a lot longer than, you know, a month. Let's do that and that. Because yay, mortgages. Well, great. You go there. You go there. Let's do some windows. Window, window, window. Done, done, done. Welcome to the mortgage side. Yeah. It's the world's most legal racket. Oh, hold on a second. The Amethyst Man performer, Tame, cancels Trey Giant Stray Tortoise trained. Reason, too injured. Excuse me? Are you too injured, or is the tortoise too injured? Neither. Okay. So they're I found a task that Amethyst people can do. They appear to just be really bad at it. They also can fight with stuff. Or are you actually canceling because you're too injured? Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna... Sorry, but... So they can actually train people, hey? Huh. It does actually seem like they are training. Magical. Genuinely magical. In other news, why aren't they hauling food? Well, I guess they are, eventually. There's far too many construction jobs, among other things. This fortress is getting a little gnarly. Where are them zombies at? Ah, yay! Excellent. The zombies have finally discovered that there's a way into the fortress. I mean, I put it right there for them. It's now simply up to them to work their way over to the front door. I also probably should have done this sooner, but I super didn't. Now it's going to be way too late by the time they do get here, but, you know, it's fine. Let's get the militia right there. Let's get the Marks dwarves back here. All right. Who's ready for a showdown at the gate? So I don't know about you dwarfs, but I certainly am. Marks dwarves are all locked and loaded. Dwarves are mostly armored. Some more than others. I would like the Marks Dwarves to actually go up here. I'm also going to try and chop down these real quick. I'm going to add this to the burrow real quick. Those are all getting constructed. The zombies are all over here. They haven't really encountered anything yet. Man, if we got attacked by a Forgotten Beast, I could literally just lock the front door right now. Which would truly be awesome if that was an option. But it really isn't right now. Chop down trees faster, Draxon. Now's your time to Dwarf. Here comes the zombies. The bolts are flying. And now they're turning around and walking away. Great. Raiklu just ran away in fear, and frankly, I don't blame him. Let's just get rid of these. The fighting begins. The dwarves have spotted the zombies. I'm going to station the primary militia just outside now. It appears that Eton here has already taken out the very first zombie that she encountered by stabbing it in the head with a steel spear, which fractured the skull through their hood. And the bolts continue to fly, and the zombies start to fall. We've got a dwarf right here who's moving forward. You know, this is something I've never done before, chat. I've never built a fortress underground that also defends itself primarily from underground. This is something I've literally never done before. I'm also going to send the Marks Dwarves down here so that they can continue to assist. As they continue to push around the corner, the zombies do seem to be broken up enough. Actually, that may be all of them. Hooey, if that's actually all of them. Oh, nope, there's more of them. Dwarves come around the corner. Very excited. Cat10 here. Excited to show off his competency. Charges in and continues to fight. And where's the remainder of the zombies? Well, one of them's underwater, so... Because of course! Of course they're in the river. They're always in the river. Without fail. They're in the river. There's never a point when they're not in the river. Send the squads back to training. Well, at least dwarves are consistent about, or zombies are consistent about as many things as dwarves are, which is, you know, they like getting stuck in the water. And let's lock this. Let's lock this. Let's lock this. Now we have access to this sucker. I would say that is a kind of a by design expected upside, but in regards to no issues with cave adaptation, I kind of went into this specifically building it with the idea in mind that I wouldn't have problems with cave adaptation. Like that kind of is almost the entirety of the idea behind this practice. All right. Chat, we've been live for 9 hours. And this fortress is getting messy. And also very large. Why are they running away in fear? Eh? Conflict? Did I miss a zombie? I must have missed a zombie somewhere. Because everything fighting everything. Seems like it. It'll be fine. Chat, we've been live for 9 hours. Macaroni and cheese. Could probably set up a pathing blockers to send them through all 3 cavern layers before they hit your main gate. I mean, fun fact, I haven't found the second one. I found the first one and the third one. I haven't found the middle cavern layer, I don't think. Like, I found this corner. Oh, actually, no, that is the middle cavern layer, you're right. It has the moss from the other side. So yeah, I'd need to find the bottom one then, but I should dig into this cavern layer more, because this cavern layer looks awesome. I mean, look at this thing. I do actually have access to this one right now, right here. I haven't really done much with it, but I do have access to it. But I think that's it for me for the day. Yeah, I don't quite... I was kind of hoping I would have some more energy today and I could dive in and play some Knights in Tight Spaces or some Goblin Camp this evening, but I'll be honest with you, my brain kind of shut down in the last hour and a half. So before you run off, please don't. I would like to remind everybody, if you want to support this channel but don't necessarily want to, like, throw money at Twitch or Google, I have a merch store. There's a link in the YouTube description. There's also a link if you type in !merch in the Twitch chat here. If you're subscribed on Twitch, you get a 10% discount by default this month. I don't know how that works. I'm sure there's a way to link your account. Otherwise, if you want a different discount, 8% is the discount you get if you type in the discount code MARCH, M-A-R-C-H. I don't think it's case sensitive. It shouldn't be, for the month of March. The other thing is I've also gone through and adjusted a bunch of prices. I lowered the price of this mug, as an example, and several of the other mugs. I also made the minecart certified mug available again. If you would like your